What fascinated me at first was actually the hospitality of the people. We had nur, we had apricots, we had grapes. He told me about the fruits of Armenia. He was really engaged in my life and why I was interested in Armenia, why I came on my own, and so on. I met a taxi driver who took me to his parents' house, to a lot of friends' houses. I mean, it was just a great adventure. Every day was so special, and something happened all the time.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends of Faces of Armenia, we warmly welcome you to another special series on Artsakh. Our distinguished guest today, Sven-Erik Rise, while Norwegian by birth, certainly Armenian by heart. But before we start, allow us to drop a note on today's format. Our special series on Artsakh offers experts from a broad spectrum of disciplines a platform to share their perspectives and reflect upon Nagorno-Karabakh. By elevating their perspectives, we hope to contribute to the substance of ongoing discussions, strengthening mediating forces, both of which advance an unmistakable impetus to find and define an agreeable, timely, and hopefully lasting end to the war. We, Faces of Armenia, see ourselves as a bridge between Armenia and the international community, calling and enabling productive relationships and positive engagement. But without further ado, Sven, if you could drop a word or two on your background, to your person, to your personality.
Yeah, I'm just a regular person, actually. I'm very interested in Armenian issues. Of course, I read the 40 Days of Musadag when I was very young, when I was 13, 14 years old, and I became very interested in the genocide on the Armenians and on the denial thereof. So I've studied that for very many years. Lately, I've had everything Armenian as my big hobby. It's actually becoming my whole life. I went to Armenia the first time in 2015 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of the genocide, and I totally fell in love with the country, the people, and the language. So I'm now learning the language, and I've been to Armenia, I think, 12 times after that, bringing guests, bringing tourists. And right now, this war situation hit me really hard. So now I'm working almost 24/7 on writing to newspapers, trying to get interviews, holding lectures, and so on. I have written a book called Hayastan, Why I Love Armenia, which includes then my trips to Armenia and kind of an academic study of the genocide and the denial of the genocide. I'm so glad that I also went to Artsakh, and a big part of the book also talks about, or I wrote about my trip there, where I really got engaged in it and also brought that book with me. Somehow, I already fell in love with Armenia and the Armenians, the very strong and proud people who were subject to a genocide and which was being denied. So this kind of gave me a lot of energy to find out more about. But I don't have a drop of Armenian blood in my veins. I wish I had, but I don't. And but I still feel now part of the whole situation, and I feel very much with my brothers and sisters in Armenia. Yes.
So the genocide initially gave you energy, but what really made the bond? What made you Armenian by heart? What do you love about Armenia?
The thing is that in 2015, there were some articles in Norwegian papers which actually reignited the spark that I needed to do more about my interest for the genocide and at the time also for Armenia. At the time, 2015, some Armenian people had contacted me via Facebook, because then we had Facebook, and I'd written about the genocide there. I started writing small updates. I shared things about Armenia, about the Turkish denial and so on. And some Armenians just randomly dropped by my Facebook page, and I got to know them. And then I said to them, I have to go to Armenia. And they wanted to take me. And I decided that no, nobody's taking me to Armenia. I'm going there on my own. So I dropped everything, and people, I worked then at the time at my school where I work now as a principal. And it was actually right around exam times at the end of the term. So there were lots of exams coming up. But I just decided, I contacted the board and I say, I need some time on my own. I need to take some time and go to Armenia. And then I told them the story and they allowed it. They said, okay, you can go, you deserve to go. So I went. Lots of people wanted to join me when I told them the story and what I was going to experience. But I thought, I need this for myself. I need to figure out why this fascination is there. And if it's really there, what if I see the country and it's a very boring Eastern European country? What am I going to tell people? And I thought, I have to lie and I have to act when I come home, because I talked so much about Armenia now that I actually have to like it. But that problem was solved right away, because what fascinated me at first was actually the hospitality of the people. That the director of the hotel where I was staying met me at the airport, took me to a very nice room, bought me Armenian champagne. We had nur, we had apricots, we had grapes. He told me about the fruits of Armenia. He was really engaged in my life and why I was interested in Armenia, why I came on my own and so on. I met a taxi driver who took me to his parents' house, to a lot of friends' houses. I mean, it was just a great adventure. Every day was so special and something happened all the time. I joined the march, of course, from the Kiev Bridge to Siskeranakabet, Genocide Memorial. I even went to the museum and it was closed. And then I demanded from the director that I came all the way from Norway, and if he's not going to show me the museum, it's a disaster. And he took me in and he showed me around. So it was so easy to get along with people. And they wanted me so bad to learn Armenian, even more than I wanted it myself. So they forced me to say words, to repeat, to conjugate verbs. And so from 200 words before I left, I came home with like 2,000. It's easy, it's difficult to combine them. It's still, I feel difficulty in speaking Armenian. I finally learned how to write it, and I'm very proud of that. So it has been going on. And then when I came home, I went with, there was this travel agency who called me and said, would you like to go to Armenia with tourists? And I said, no, Armenia is mine. I'm not sharing it. And then I thought, okay, why not share it and let more people learn about it? I want them to really learn about genocide, genocide denial, Artsakh, everything, the hospitality of the people, the willfulness of the people to make it right, the people, the hard work that they do in Armenia, the creativity. So I made these very special tours and they were all filled up, 30 people every time. I think I went 10 times and then a couple of times again on my own. And actually the really big victory was that I managed to get 30 people interested in going with me to Artsakh. First time ever from Norway. We're actually not allowed to go because Norwegian government doesn't recognize Artsakh. They say it's dangerous. Right now it is, but before I could kind of comfort everybody and say that there is no danger in going to Stepanakert and Shushi. And actually last Easter we were supposed to go, but then I was canceled due to COVID-19. And so we'll have to wait now for a while before we can actually go. But to see also in the minds of Norwegians that I take with me, who actually realize what Armenia is, what it means, and how the people have suffered and then are still standing. It is amazing every time I take people. And these are the people now, all these 30 people, 10 times that I took to Armenia, donate money, they help me, they write to me, they tell me about articles they've seen in the paper that they want me to answer. So there's actually a lot going on with these people that I brought to Armenia, and I'm so proud that actually they are now engaged in the war and in Artsakh, and also trying to influence politicians here in Norway to recognize the genocide.
Your illustration is really touching, and I think it shows the point how important it is to have international advocates, because only they can show other international people the beauty of Armenia and what it means and the need of it to be protected and served. So unfortunately, our conversation topic today is grim, but can you maybe share your first experience visiting Artsakh and what you felt?
I was so excited because I talked to people from Artsakh that I met in Yerevan, and they were so eager to invite me to come there. And the very first time I went actually with a Turkish friend called Ergin, who was my friend from where I grew up. I grew up in a very small city in Norway, and this guy was my blood brother when we were 7 years old. He taught me Turkish at the time, and we had Turkish food and Turkish everything. He gave us a lot of Turkish food. And the funny thing was that all this Turkish food was what I found in Armenia, because they called it lamachon and they called it lavash and everything. I didn't realize it, of course, at the time when I was 7 years old, that this is actually Armenian food. But we stayed friends. They moved back to Turkey, to Istanbul. Then we met in Istanbul at a certain point in time. And then I told him about the genocide and about me going to Armenia in 2015. And he was very hostile, and he said that the genocide didn't happen, which I knew would happen, but I had to tell him that I actually was involved in this and that I'd always been, and for very many years. He actually showed up in 2015 in Yerevan, unexpectedly, going by bus via Georgia to Yerevan to talk to me about this, because he needed my friendship. He needed us to be friends. And he came and we traveled around in Armenia, and it took him 2 hours to just turn. He understood what this was about. And together we went to Artsakh, and we rented Honda small motorcycles in Yerevan, and we traveled down the roads via Goris. We even went to, and this is a secret because I would probably get killed next time if I ever go to Azerbaijan. I'm probably not welcomed anyway, but we actually went into Nakhchivan because we didn't understand that there was a border. And I thought, this is exciting, and it's closed, and there is some militaries. Okay, let's take the motorcycles, and if we maybe can reach Turkey. But it wasn't Turkey, it was Azerbaijan, Nakhchivan, and Armenian soldiers followed us and got us back in safety. And they said, are you totally crazy? You want to die? And then we said some phrases in Armenian, and we were best friends, and they showed us the way, actually, on the way to Goris. And then we went into Tatar Monastery on the way. We had vodka, ogi, in one village, and we kept on driving the motorcycles until we reached Nagorno-Karabakh, or Artsakh. And there we stayed at a very beautiful hotel, Hotel Armenia it was, in the middle of Artsakh. And we experienced a lot of things because they were so interested in meeting us. Everybody was so happy, and they wanted to show us. And of course, skeptical at first, the Turk and everything, but it's just like me. We were talking Armenian together, finding out new words, making new constructions, having a lot of fun. And we went trailing in the woods. I was even bitten by a snake, and I got help in the hospital in Artsakh, which was just fantastic. And Ergin was so happy. On the way back, we met Chirusho, an Armenian singer, which was a fantastic experience. So we had dinner at a friend's house. We met some soldiers. Yeah, it was an experience of a lifetime. And so when I wrote the book, I had to change the name of the Turkish friend and everything. And some people have called me from Turkey asking who this Turk is. They would like his address. Of course, they will never get it. And he's been safe. Nothing has happened to him, so he's fine. But it was really the turning point when he stayed in my hotel room the night when he actually sat on his bed, tears running, and he said, you know what? I have been a very bad person because I only listened to the Turkish version of this, and it's a shame. It's a big shame. And he hadn't learned it actually in school because he went to school in Norway, so he didn't get the curriculum even from 5th grade in Turkey. In Turkey, they learn about this in the 5th grade, and there is an exam at the end of the year where they twist and turn all the history around so that people believe the fake history. He hadn't had that experience, but it heard from friends and family that you're a Turk, you deny the genocide. It's kind of, if you're of that race, you deny genocides. So it was really interesting to be with him there, the time that he spent with me, and the time that he got introduced to Armenians, and he said, well, they're so cool. I didn't know they were so cool. And they have such funny letters when they write. So he was amazed at that. Now, to put Armenian people under the sovereignty or under the rule of a Turkic state with Azerbaijanis, brother people of actually the people, 1.5 million were killed, were annihilated in a genocide. And then to say to the Artsakhians, who are Armenians, you are going to live with the brothers of these Turks who did this, and they deny the genocide. The Azerbaijanis have denied the genocide all the way.